I cannot believe I am turning 60 today and still feel like the world is moving too fast for me, Margaret whispered to herself as she arranged the final touches on the dining table, the soft glow of warm lights casting gentle shadows across the living room. The house was filled with the subtle scent of freshly baked bread and vanilla candles, a comforting combination that reminded her of quieter, simpler times. She carefully placed the birthday cards, each one hand-picked, some with heartfelt messages from distant relatives, and others simple notes from close friends, all meant to celebrate her life and the love she had nurtured over the years. Margaret glanced at the clock, noting that Ethan and Sophia would arrive any minute now, and a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation fluttered in her chest. She straightened her posture and adjusted her elegant yet modest dress, a soft shade of lavender that complemented her white skin and brought a gentle warmth to her complexion, reflecting her refined taste and the years of careful attention she had devoted to herself and her home. The soft hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the wooden floor beneath her steps added to the atmosphere of quiet anticipation. As she stood by the doorway, peeking into the kitchen to ensure that every dish was perfectly aligned and ready for serving, her thoughts drifted to memories of past birthdays and family gatherings, each one etched with laughter, shared stories, and moments of connection that had made her feel cherished and valued. A sudden sound of the doorbell jolted her back to the present, and a genuine smile spread across her face as she hurried to greet her family, her heart swelling with love and hope that this evening would be remembered fondly. The door opened to reveal Ethan with his familiar easygoing smile, holding the car door open for Sophia, who stepped inside looking slightly tense but trying to mask it with a polite greeting. Margaret's eyes met Sophia's, and for a fleeting second she sensed a subtle unease, a ripple of tension beneath the surface that she could not quite place, yet she brushed it aside, choosing to focus on the joy of the moment and the fact that her son was by her side. As they moved towards the dining area, the soft clinking of dishes and the faint aroma of the meal filled the air, creating a comforting symphony of domestic familiarity. Margaret's hands trembled slightly, not from nervousness, but from the surge of emotion at seeing her family gathered in one place, the culmination of years of care, love, and unwavering commitment to her household. She poured drinks with practiced grace, setting each glass carefully before her guests, her mind racing with thoughts of what she wanted to say, how she wanted to express gratitude, and the small, personal gestures that made these moments so meaningful. The conversation began with light laughter and shared anecdotes, the kind that made one feel the warmth of human connection, and for a moment, Margaret felt completely at ease, her heart opening to the simple joy of having her loved ones near. Every detail of the room, from the softly flickering candles to the perfectly set tableware, reflected her dedication to creating an environment that exuded care, love, and the subtle reassurance that she belonged, that she was valued, and that this birthday, like so many before, would be a celebration not just of her life, but of the family bonds that she had nurtured so diligently over the years. Margaret took a deep breath as she watched Ethan and Sophia settle into the living room chairs, the gentle hum of conversation filling the space with a familiar warmth that made her feel both comforted and slightly apprehensive. She moved gracefully to the buffet table, adjusting the arrangement of appetizers and ensuring that each dish was perfectly aligned, reflecting her careful attention to detail and the pride she took in creating an inviting environment for her family. The aroma of roasted chicken mingled with the subtle fragrance of fresh herbs, creating an atmosphere that was both comforting and sophisticated, a testament to Margaret's meticulous planning and her desire to make this birthday dinner memorable for everyone present. As she poured a glass of water for Ethan, she noticed the way he smiled at her with genuine appreciation, a small gesture that carried a depth of unspoken gratitude and warmth, reminding her of the strong bond they had maintained over the years despite the inevitable changes that time had brought. Sophia, on the other hand, appeared slightly tense, her polite smile barely concealing a flicker of unease in her eyes, and Margaret could not help but feel a pang of concern as she pondered what might be troubling her daughter-in-law on this otherwise joyful evening. She approached Sophia with a gentle tone, offering a small compliment on the dress she had chosen, hoping to ease any discomfort and foster a sense of belonging in the shared space of the family home. The conversation shifted naturally to shared memories of past birthdays and family events, Margaret leading the discussion with light-hearted anecdotes and gentle humor, carefully balancing the flow of dialogue to ensure that everyone felt included and at ease. As the evening progressed, Margaret found herself reflecting on the subtle dynamics at play, the layers of emotion that existed between her son and his wife, and the ways in which these relationships had evolved over time, each interaction carrying nuances that required patience, empathy, and careful attention. She moved to refill the wine glasses, offering Ethan a warm smile, and exchanged a few words about his recent work projects, marveling at his dedication and the way he navigated the challenges of adulthood with a quiet confidence that made her proud. Sophia responded with a measured tone, her gestures precise and thoughtful, and Margaret sensed that beneath the surface, there was a desire for connection that might not yet have fully found its expression in words or actions. The lighting in the room cast soft shadows that highlighted the textures of the carefully chosen decor, the polished wood of the dining table, and the subtle patterns of the table linens, creating a visually harmonious setting that reflected Margaret's refined taste and her ongoing commitment to creating a nurturing environment for her family. As dessert was brought out, the gentle laughter of Ethan mingled with the polite acknowledgments of Sophia, and Margaret felt a quiet satisfaction in witnessing these moments of togetherness, small yet meaningful indicators that the bonds she had nurtured over the years were enduring, resilient, and capable of sustaining joy, understanding, and mutual respect within the family dynamic. Sophia sat quietly in the corner of the dining room, her hands resting lightly on her lap as she observed the lively interactions between Margaret and Ethan, feeling both included and slightly out of place in the warm, bustling atmosphere. She adjusted the strap of her dress and took a small sip of water, attempting to compose herself while navigating the delicate social dynamics that had accompanied every family gathering since she had married into the family. Her mind wandered briefly to the preparations she had made earlier, the carefully chosen outfit, the small gestures of thoughtfulness, and yet she could not shake the feeling that something was amiss, a subtle tension that seemed to linger just beneath the surface of the conversation around her. Margaret's voice carried through the room with ease and confidence as she recounted humorous memories from past family celebrations, her eyes twinkling with warmth and gentle mischief, and Sophia found herself smiling despite the underlying anxiety, appreciating the effort and care that Margaret had always put into making these moments special. Ethan noticed Sophia's slight unease and reached out to touch her hand lightly, a reassuring gesture meant to provide comfort and solidarity, and she responded with a tentative smile, grateful for the support yet still uncertain about the proper balance of interaction with her mother-in-law. The soft clinking of cutlery and the gentle hum of conversation created a rhythm that was both familiar and soothing, yet Sophia remained acutely aware of the subtleties in tone, expression, and posture, each detail informing her understanding of the unspoken expectations and norms that governed this family dynamic. She reflected on the challenges of integrating fully into a family that had its established routines and rhythms, and the importance of patience, observation, and thoughtful responses in fostering trust and acceptance over time. As the evening progressed, Margaret invited Sophia to share a story about her own experiences with holidays in her childhood home, encouraging her to find her voice and participate actively in the exchange of memories and laughter, which Sophia did with careful consideration, selecting words that conveyed sincerity and respect while revealing glimpses of her own personality and values. Ethan's gentle prompts and affirming nods created a supportive environment, allowing Sophia to relax incrementally, and she began to feel a stronger sense of belonging, recognizing the shared commitment to family unity that underpinned these interactions. The table was adorned with delicately arranged dishes and soft ambient lighting that highlighted the elegant simplicity of the decor, reinforcing the sense of care and intention that Margaret had invested in every aspect of the gathering. Sophia observed the intricate patterns of the table linens, the polished surfaces of the dinnerware, and the thoughtful placement of candles and flowers, each element reflecting an unspoken standard of excellence and consideration that she had come to appreciate, understanding that participation in this family story required both attentiveness and empathy. By the time dessert was served, Sophia felt a gentle shift within herself, a growing confidence that her presence and contributions were valued, and that the bonds she was cultivating with Margaret and Ethan could develop into a lasting, harmonious connection that honored both her individuality and her role within the family. The evening air was filled with the soft laughter and gentle conversation of family, Yet a subtle tension lingered beneath the surface as Sophia noticed Margaret's occasional sharp glances, each one carrying an unspoken question that made her heart beat a little faster. She adjusted her posture and focused on maintaining a composed expression, aware that every gesture, every inflection in her voice, could influence the delicate balance of their interaction. Ethan, seated next to her, offered quiet support with reassuring smiles and small nods, silently reminding her that he understood the challenges of navigating these nuanced family dynamics. Margaret continued to recount stories from her youth, her voice animated yet tinged with a certain exacting precision that revealed the standards she held for herself and for those around her, and Sophia listened attentively, carefully choosing her responses to reflect respect, interest, and genuine curiosity. The table was laden with carefully prepared dishes, each one representing a labor of love and tradition, and Sophia could not help but admire the meticulous attention to detail in the presentation, understanding that these gestures were as much about conveying care as they were about maintaining family rituals. As she participated in the conversation, Sophia shared anecdotes from her own childhood, selecting moments that highlighted values of kindness, resilience, and thoughtful reflection, hoping to bridge the gap between her experiences and the expectations of her new family. Ethan's gentle prompts encouraged her to elaborate, and she found herself gradually relaxing, allowing her natural personality to emerge amidst the careful dance of diplomacy and warmth. Margaret's eyes softened at times, revealing moments of appreciation for Sophia's sincerity and effort, though the subtle challenge in her tone reminded Sophia that acceptance would be earned through consistency, attentiveness, and genuine engagement. The soft glow of candlelight illuminated the room, casting gentle shadows that danced across the faces of the family, adding a sense of intimacy and depth to the evening that underscored the importance of connection, empathy, and understanding in these shared experiences. Sophia reflected on the complexities of familial relationships, realizing that moments of tension were opportunities for growth, dialogue, and the demonstration of character, and she resolved to approach each interaction with patience, humility, and a thoughtful presence. The conversation shifted toward plans for the upcoming week, and Sophia offered her own suggestions for family activities and gatherings, carefully balancing her input to contribute meaningfully without overshadowing established traditions. Ethan's supportive remarks reinforced her confidence, and even Margaret, though reserved in her immediate reaction, appeared to recognize the value of Sophia's participation, subtly acknowledging the careful navigation of boundaries, respect, and the effort to foster harmony. By the end of the meal, Sophia felt a quiet sense of accomplishment, a growing assurance that her place within this family, though still unfolding, was becoming more defined through her attentive engagement, measured responses, and the gentle cultivation of mutual respect and understanding, promising a foundation upon which lasting connections could continue to grow. Sophia rose from the dining table, her hands lightly brushing the edge of the finely polished wood as she carried a plate to the kitchen, feeling the warmth of the room still linger on her skin and the weight of unspoken words pressing gently on her mind. Ethan followed closely behind, his presence steady and reassuring, the subtle smile he offered providing comfort in the midst of the complex emotional currents that had flowed throughout the evening. Margaret, lingering near the doorway, watched the exchange with a measured expression, her eyes sharp yet softened by the glow of the chandelier above, hinting at a mixture of curiosity and cautious assessment as she considered the dynamics between her daughter-in-law and her son. Sophia carefully arranged the dishes on the counter, noting the meticulous placement of each utensil and the lingering aroma of roasted vegetables, freshly baked bread, and simmering sauces that filled the kitchen with a comforting sense of tradition and domestic care. She paused for a moment, inhaling deeply, allowing herself a brief respite from the tension, reflecting on how these moments of quiet and routine could offer insights into understanding, patience, and the subtle ways that relationships are nurtured over time. Ethan joined her at the counter, gently suggesting adjustments to the table settings for the next meal, his tone light but intentional, guiding Sophia in ways that honored both her initiative and the established family practices, fostering collaboration without conflict. Outside the kitchen window, the late afternoon sunlight cast long, gentle shadows across the garden, and Sophia found herself momentarily captivated by the sight of dew-kissed petals glinting in the golden light, A reminder that beauty and calm could coexist even amid the complexity of human interactions. Margaret approached, carrying a small tray of desserts, her movements precise and deliberate, and Sophia welcomed the opportunity to assist, exchanging small talk and laughter that carried the weight of genuine engagement without revealing the underlying strains that had marked the earlier conversation. As they worked together, Sophia became acutely aware of the subtle language of body posture, tone, and expression, recognizing that each interaction provided opportunities to strengthen bonds, build trust, and demonstrate respect, patience, and empathy in ways that would resonate over time. Ethan's encouragement continued, punctuated by moments of gentle humor that eased tension and fostered a collaborative spirit, allowing Sophia to navigate the expectations of her new family environment with increasing confidence and poise. By the time the dessert was served, the kitchen had transformed into a space of shared accomplishment and quiet camaraderie, the scents, sounds, and gestures blending to create a sense of cohesion and harmony that had seemed elusive earlier in the evening. Sophia reflected on the delicate balance of effort, attentiveness, and sincerity required to cultivate these connections, understanding that while challenges were inevitable, the consistent practice of care, observation, and thoughtful response would ultimately nurture a family environment defined by mutual respect, understanding, and warmth. Each smile, nod, and brief exchange between Sophia, Ethan, and Margaret carried significance, reinforcing the intricate dance of adaptation, recognition, and authentic engagement that formed the foundation for lasting familial bonds and meaningful shared experiences, promising a path forward filled with potential, growth, and quiet satisfaction. Sophia lingered by the window, watching the soft twilight settle over the backyard, the fading sunlight casting a warm glow that reflected off the delicate glassware on the table and accentuated the gentle curves of the room. Ethan entered quietly, carrying a tray with 2 cups of herbal tea, the steam curling upward in lazy spirals, inviting a moment of calm reflection amid the ongoing adjustments of family life. He placed the tray carefully beside Sophia, offering a reassuring smile that conveyed both understanding and patience, a subtle acknowledgement of the challenges she had navigated throughout the day. Sophia accepted a cup, her fingers brushing against his briefly, and she felt a sense of connection that went beyond the simple act of sharing tea. It was a quiet affirmation of partnership and mutual support. Margaret appeared from the hallway, holding a folded linen and moving with the precision and grace that marked her usual attention to detail, her expression softening as she observed the small, peaceful ritual unfolding between her son and daughter-in-law. The 3 of them shared a brief exchange about the day, discussing plans for upcoming meals and household tasks, their words measured but warm, conveying a sense of collaboration, mutual consideration, and evolving understanding. Sophia reflected on the nuances of communication, recognizing how tone, timing, and attentiveness could transform routine interactions into meaningful exchanges that strengthened trust and respect. Outside, the garden was bathed in the deepening blues and purples of early evening, the faint scent of blooming flowers drifting through the open window, mingling with the aroma of tea and the subtle warmth of the kitchen, creating an atmosphere of tranquility and comfort that contrasted with the tension that had colored earlier moments. Ethan suggested a small adjustment to the table arrangement for tomorrow's dinner, and Sophia responded with thoughtful ideas, their conversation flowing effortlessly, punctuated by light laughter and gentle agreement, highlighting the gradual synchronization of their daily rhythms and preferences. Margaret observed silently, her posture relaxed, appreciating the subtle balance of initiative and deference, recognizing that Sophia's efforts and adaptability were contributing to the household in tangible, harmonious ways. As the evening progressed, Sophia felt increasingly at ease, the initial uncertainty giving way to confidence, a quiet pride in her ability to navigate the delicate layers of relationships, expectations, and shared responsibilities within her new family environment. Ethan's supportive presence and Margaret's attentive observations provided a framework within which Sophia could express herself authentically while honoring the existing family dynamics, demonstrating the power of empathy, patience, and active listening. They discussed minor plans for the week, sharing observations about the children, meals, and household routines, the conversation carrying an undercurrent of respect and cooperation that reinforced a sense of unity and shared purpose. Sophia noted how each small interaction, acknowledging a preference, adjusting a detail, offering a gentle word of encouragement, added up to a profound sense of belonging, illustrating how intentional actions, even when subtle, could transform the experience of daily life into one marked by connection, understanding, and meaningful engagement. The room settled into a soft, steady rhythm, the ambient light and quiet background creating a space where reflection, gratitude, and calm anticipation for the future coexisted, providing Sophia with reassurance and a renewed sense of agency within the evolving tapestry of family life. As the night drew on, they completed the final tidying, the soft clinking of dishes, the folding of linens, and the warm smiles exchanged creating a layered tapestry of trust, collaboration, and shared commitment, leaving Sophia with the enduring realization that harmony was built through patience, attentiveness, and the mindful cultivation of understanding within every small moment of daily life. Sophia opened the door to the softly lit living room, the warm glow from the chandelier highlighting the subtle textures of the furniture and casting gentle shadows that danced along the walls. Ethan followed closely behind, carrying a tray of freshly baked cookies, the sweet aroma mingling with the faint scent of vanilla and lavender that lingered in the air from earlier preparations. They moved with quiet coordination, each gesture intentional, reflecting a rhythm of shared effort that had developed over the past weeks. Margaret sat in her favorite armchair, a knitted throw draped over her lap, observing their movements with an approving smile that conveyed recognition of their diligence and attentiveness. Sophia approached the center table, placing the tray down with care, her fingers brushing against the polished wood, feeling its smooth surface beneath her touch and noting how such details added subtle warmth to the evening. Ethan poured milk into small glasses, the creamy liquid catching the light in delicate reflections, and handed one to Sophia, who accepted it with a grateful nod, the simple act reinforcing their unspoken understanding and mutual respect. They settled near the fireplace, the flickering flames casting a soothing ambience, and engaged in light conversation about plans for the weekend, upcoming family gatherings, and small domestic projects, the dialogue flowing naturally, punctuated by gentle laughter and shared observations. Sophia reflected on the nuances of communication, noting how empathy, timing, and attentiveness transformed ordinary exchanges into meaningful interactions that strengthened trust and collaboration within the family. Margaret offered subtle comments, highlighting small accomplishments and shared routines, her tone supportive and encouraging, fostering a sense of inclusion and respect that elevated the atmosphere of the room. The children's laughter could be heard faintly from the garden, carried through the open window, adding a playful layer to the tranquil setting and reminding Sophia of the broader circle of care and connection that enveloped their daily lives. As they continued, Sophia shared her thoughts on small improvements in household arrangements, Ethan suggested minor adjustments, and Margaret offered her perspective, each contribution acknowledged and valued, illustrating the collaborative dynamic that had emerged over time. The evening unfolded with measured ease, the interplay of voices, movements, and expressions creating a delicate balance of attentiveness, consideration, and harmony. Sophia felt a deepening sense of belonging, her efforts recognized and appreciated in subtle, tangible ways that reinforced her confidence and sense of purpose. The glow from the fireplace and the soft illumination of lamps created pockets of warmth and comfort, highlighting faces, gestures, and expressions, weaving an environment where reflection, gratitude, and mindful engagement coexisted seamlessly. As the night drew on, they concluded small tasks with thoughtful precision, exchanged gentle acknowledgments for each other's contributions, and prepared for the transition to bedtime, the soft clinking of dishes, the careful folding of linens, and the quiet hum of conversation contributing to a layered sense of connection and shared responsibility. Sophia recognized that each moment, no matter how seemingly minor, was an opportunity to cultivate understanding, nurture relationships, and strengthen the fabric of family life through patience, attentiveness, and intentional actions that spoke volumes beyond words, creating an enduring sense of unity, comfort, and mutual respect. The morning sun filtered through the sheer curtains, casting soft patterns of light across the kitchen floor where Sophia moved with quiet purpose, arranging fresh flowers in a vase and setting the table for breakfast with careful attention to detail, her hands steady and deliberate as she placed each plate, cup, and utensil in perfect alignment, reflecting her meticulous nature and desire for harmony. Ethan entered carrying a small basket of freshly picked fruits, the vibrant colors of apples, oranges, and berries contrasting beautifully with the warm tones of the wooden table, and handed it to Sophia with a gentle smile, their eyes meeting briefly in shared understanding and appreciation for these simple routines that grounded their mornings in connection and care. Sophia commented on the ripeness of the berries, noting their sweetness, and Ethan responded with observations about the textures and flavors, their conversation light and engaging, filled with subtle humor and warmth that echoed the closeness of their relationship. Margaret joined them shortly after, bringing with her the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and toasted bread, her presence adding a sense of familiarity and comfort that anchored the morning. They shared a quiet moment of reflection, discussing plans for the day, small household tasks, and upcoming family events, each contributing suggestions and listening attentively, fostering an atmosphere of mutual respect and consideration. Outside, the gentle rustle of leaves and distant birdsong created a serene backdrop, complementing the soft clinking of dishes and cups as they arranged their meal, blending domestic activity with natural tranquility. Sophia noticed the sunlight highlighting Ethan's thoughtful expression and Margaret's serene demeanor, appreciating how these subtle details added depth and texture to the morning, enhancing the shared experience of care and attentiveness. Conversation flowed naturally, touching on topics from neighborhood happenings to light-hearted anecdotes, punctuated by laughter and occasional pauses for sipping coffee, allowing the rhythm of dialogue to mirror the rhythm of their day. Sophia reflected internally on the importance of patience and mindful engagement, recognizing how deliberate acts of kindness, acknowledgement, and attentive listening reinforced bonds and nurtured trust within the family, creating a resilient sense of unity that could weather minor misunderstandings or conflicts. They discussed minor plans for the garden, household improvements, and preparation for social visits, each decision made collaboratively, demonstrating the balance of initiative and support that characterized their interactions. Margaret shared a thoughtful observation about managing time and priorities, Ethan responded with practical considerations, and Sophia offered insights based on her experiences, the exchange reinforcing the mutual respect and collaboration that defined their relationship. As the morning progressed, Sophia and Ethan completed small chores together, their movements synchronized and efficient, the ambient sounds of the kitchen, birds, and distant traffic blending into a harmonious environment. They paused occasionally to share observations, offer encouragement, and express appreciation for each other's contributions, reinforcing a sense of partnership and belonging. By mid-morning, the table was cleared, dishes neatly stacked, and the family prepared for the day ahead, carrying with them the warmth, attentiveness, and intentionality cultivated in these quiet, shared moments, leaving Sophia with a profound sense of contentment, connection, and purpose, aware that the strength of family lay not in grand gestures but in the consistency of care, thoughtful presence, and genuine engagement that marked each interaction. The evening sunlight streamed through the living room windows, casting a warm golden glow across the familiar furnishings as Sophia settled into her favorite armchair, the soft cushions supporting her with comforting familiarity while Ethan joined her on the sofa, carrying a tray with 2 cups of herbal tea, their movements calm and unhurried, reflecting the peaceful rhythm of their home life after a long day filled with subtle challenges and small triumphs. Sophia took a slow sip of her tea, savoring the aroma and warmth, and shared a gentle observation about the events of the day, commenting on the interactions with neighbors, minor household issues, and the subtle moments of joy that had punctuated the afternoon, her voice calm yet imbued with a quiet strength that came from years of experience navigating complex family dynamics. Ethan listened attentively, nodding occasionally and offering supportive remarks that reinforced the sense of partnership and mutual respect that had always characterized their relationship, his tone encouraging yet grounded, demonstrating his awareness of the importance of validation and understanding in maintaining harmony within the family. Outside, the soft rustle of leaves and distant evening traffic created a serene backdrop, complementing the quiet hum of the heater and the gentle clinking of cups as they set aside their tea, establishing a tranquil environment that allowed for reflection and meaningful dialogue. Margaret entered briefly, carrying a small basket of freshly baked pastries, her presence adding warmth and the comforting familiarity of shared routines, and she joined in a light conversation about plans for the coming days, seasonal preparations, and minor tasks that needed attention, her contributions thoughtful, measured, and infused with an understated wisdom that enriched the exchange and reinforced familial cohesion. Sophia reflected internally on the ways in which small acts of attentiveness, patient listening, and deliberate expressions of care had cultivated an atmosphere of trust and understanding, recognizing that these seemingly ordinary moments formed the foundation of lasting relationships and emotional resilience. They discussed shared memories from past holidays, light-hearted anecdotes about family traditions, and plans for upcoming gatherings, weaving together the fabric of daily life with intentionality and warmth, each remark fostering connection and mutual appreciation. The conversation naturally shifted toward personal reflections, with Sophia articulating her hopes and concerns with clarity and vulnerability, Ethan responding with empathy and practical insights, and Margaret offering balanced perspectives that validated experiences while encouraging thoughtful solutions. Laughter occasionally punctuated the dialogue, gentle and unforced, echoing the sense of security and belonging that came from consistent engagement and mutual respect. As twilight deepened and the golden light softened into dusk, they moved together to tidy the living space, arranging cushions, stacking books, and ensuring that the home reflected the care and consideration that had defined their day, each action executed with mindfulness and cooperative spirit. Sophia paused to appreciate the harmony and balance of the moment, the steady presence of Ethan and Margaret serving as a reminder that family cohesion was maintained through deliberate acts of attentiveness, consistency, and shared responsibility, not through grand gestures alone. By the time the last rays of sunlight faded and the room settled into a quiet evening ambience, Sophia felt a profound sense of contentment, gratitude, and reassurance, aware that the depth of connection, empathy, and care shared with Ethan and Margaret created a foundation strong enough to support both routine days and the inevitable complexities of life, leaving her with a renewed sense of purpose, love, and familial stability that would carry them forward together into the days to come.